Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, everyone, thank you for attending today's webinar. Yeah, so I think we have like a very great webinar, very timely. We are now in Q4, and I think a lot of sellers are looking to really benefit from like a Q4 bump, and that would include sales and profits. And the topic here today is boost margins and profitability in Q4 with rising fees. And as we know, fees are rising in Amazon. So any way that we could pick up this small slither of margins and sales is all, it all, aggregates together to kind of, increase and boost your profits and make your sales year very profitable. So we have 6 speakers today, including me. So we have me, Rick Wong, founder of SellerMetrics, and we have Mark Botha, Atomic Profits, Daniel Sodkiewicz. Did I get that right? Sorry. Sorry, Daniel, would you want to introduce
yes. So you actually made it very, you pronounced my name super good. Daniel Sodkiewicz. Yeah, I'm from GeekSeller.
GeekSeller. Rafael, would you like to intro yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Rafael. I'm the founder of Share Studio. I'm a filmmaker, also marketer. And in 2017, I just bumped into the Amazon ecosystem, and I haven't looked back since. And it's provided a roof on top of my head and be able to help dozens of sellers so far. So yeah.
How about Mark? Would you like to introduce yourself? I think I introduced as Atomic Profits, but it's SellerVUE.
Yeah, so yeah, Mark Botha from SellerVUE, and I'm going to be talking about how to maximize your margins.
Yeah. And Kristen?
Yes, Kristen Philippi, and I'm with TrueOps. We're a reimbursement company.
Yeah, Kristen will be filling in for Joel MacPherson, who couldn't attend today. And then Fabricio.
Yeah, Fabricio Miranda, CEO and founder of Flieber. Flieber is inventory planning. I'm going to talk a little more about that in my presentation.
All right, great. Okay, so as I mentioned, my name is Rick Wong, the founder of SellerMetrics. Today, I am going to present on how to increase profits and pricing with pricing and bundling strategies. Okay, as we mentioned, that fees and ads are here to stay. They're pretty now fixed, right? Amazon is basically a pay-to-play type of marketplace. So that means that you either improve your top line or improve your expenses, right? Like lower your expenses, aka ads. Another method to actually expand your sales and profits is also through bundling, in which we're going to talk about in my presentation right now. Okay, there's really about 3 main ways to bundle on Amazon. So number 1, that would be case pack and size variation bundling. So that would mean that you're going to put set of X, number of X products, basically the same product, same size together as one listing. As you can see in this example here, so basically here we have like a 2 count, 2 bottles of a gummy versus 1 bottle and 3 bottles of gummy. So that's one way to bundle. Another way is that you could actually make the actual bottle itself larger. That also falls within this type of bundling. Utility bundles. So that would be product X with product Y. And normally like the products are complements of each other. So you can see like this example right here. They have a loofah and then also a brush together in the set. So this is like a grooming bundle, right? So they have like a utility to be used with each other. Lastly, we have like a virtual bundle. So that would mean that you can combine 2 to 5 products from your existing catalog into one single virtual ASIN listing. So you can see like an example here, so that the virtual bundle normally would show up under the variation tiles in the Amazon listing. Okay, so why bundling? So one reason, so if you actually work out the numbers, it increased the average order value. So you sell things at a higher price. And because of that, margins expansion, because your percentage of ad spend and also percentage of FBA fees would be proportionally lower to the selling price, right? Therefore, lowering your percentage of expenses. And you could easily work that out. So in my example right here for one of my clients, so you could actually do this with the Amazon FBA calculator. So you can see like the fulfillment for the one pack, the fulfillment fees as a percentage of the item price is 12%. While the 3-pack, the percentage of FBA fees to the selling price is 5.9. So obviously the percentage of cost is much lower. So there's pros and cons to each of like the bundling type. So we're going to discuss that a bit further. So for case pack and the size bundling, the pro is like it's very easy to bundle because you already have the same product. Basically, you just put like 2 products together, package it together, and put like one FN SKU label into it. Another pros is that it's a separate listing, right? It's additional ASIN variation, and basically that listing will show up on this the search results, right? And basically you could like cover a bit more real estate on your say targeted keywords. Cons, well, you have to like physically bundle it together, so that would mean that additional work on the 3PL or the supplier side, and also you have to like manage additional listings. For the utility bundling, pros is that could achieve a much higher average order value if you have like a very strong complement product that is like much higher price than your existing one that you're selling. It also acts like a kind of like a mini launch. You could basically sell an adjacent product, right? Test out selling a new adjacent product on a small scale to be complemented in the hero product. And if it's successful, you could potentially roll it out as a separate listing. Another pro, again, similar to the case pack bundling, is a separate listing and can show up on the search results as well. The cons of this is that you have to like source a different product, so therefore you might have to work with a different supplier, and that would add on to your operations. Very similar to like the case pack, you have to actually physically bundle it, additional work on the supplier and 3PL side. And also you have to manage additional listings. And another cons for this is that there is a higher chance of failure versus say case pack bundling, because if the bundle doesn't really resonate with your audience, which I have seen quite a bit, and if that's the case, you just have like decent amount of inventory just stuck there. Right, that's why like having good experience in your niche and also merchandising experience really matters if you want to do some utility bundling. Lastly, virtual bundling. So virtual bundling, the pros is that it's easier to bundle. You can also do it like basically virtually. It's virtually done on Amazon, so there's no need to physically bundle the item. It's basically you have one listing A, listing B, and just add them together. And when Amazon, if somebody purchased from the bundle, Amazon basically on the back end will treat it as a separate order to be fulfilled. And the second pro is that basically you could like test out the utility bundle without having to like physically create one, so you don't have that inventory risk of the second type of bundling, which is the utility bundling. The con is that for this type of bundling, the virtual bundles, you're gonna it's really hard to rank for this type of listing, the virtual listing. You'll get like a lower visibility, and it'll give like a lower ranking in the search results. And you can only run ads using the sponsored brand ad types for virtual bundle as well. Okay, so we talked about the types of bundling and pros and cons. So now we have to talk about how we could price it so our other variation, aka the bundles, would be sold, and we could actually use pricing, right, between your bundles and variations to kind of influence the purchasing behavior from the shoppers. So I think number one is that you need to give your bundle substantive relative value. So for example, if you are selling three-piece per a three-piece set, you probably set your unit price at least 20% lower than like one piece. So I have an example right here. So you can see like the gummies. So you can see like the 1-pack, and you can see like a 2-pack is around like 10% and then 20% off for the 3-pack. And another way that you could also increase your overall sales and profit with this strategy is that you could actually lower the price of your hero ASIN. Normally that would be the 1-pack, and you could actually make up that margin, right, by the savings that you get from bundling, right? So basically it can potentially, if you actually set the pricing right, lowering the price of the hero product, you get more traffic on your parent and child listing, you could get like more sales overall. It's basically a similar strategy with like the typical groceries, they would like lower the price of milk, but they make up the margins on, you know, the chocolate bars, the other products that's in the grocery stores. So you can see like we've actually done this with one of our clients, right? You can see like the average order value steadily increase, while the conversion rate more or less stay the same. And on November, unfortunately, like the case pack was out of stock, so it kind of reverted to a lower average order value. And that's all for my presentation, and just a bit about who we are. So we are a tech-enabled full-service Amazon agency, right? We have like in-house software that implements some of our own custom strategies, and we have a very strong team. Well, I like to say that we are very much a seller-led agency. We have a very strong team with a lot of Amazon selling experience. For me, I'm a founder that I've achieved a 7-figure brand exit in 2020. And if you want to reach out to me, my website is SellerMetrics.app, and you can actually check me out at my YouTube channel, or you could email me at rick.wong@SellerMetrics.app. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay, now we have Mark, and his topic is atomic profits, the A to Z of maximizing your profits.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about profits. So we've had hundreds of sellers improve their margin by focusing on this one thing, which is more profit. So what I've learned in the last 12 years is that to be profitable in e-commerce, you need to handle these two things really well. And that is get your product for the lowest possible cost without sacrificing time or quality. And 2, sell your inventory quickly for the best possible price without overspending. So here's the problem. When I think about e-commerce and selling in e-commerce, I think there's 2 activities. We've got the left brain and we've got the right brain. Unfortunately, the left brain is the cold, hard truth about profit, which is all the non-exciting, sexy things that drive profit. And on the right is the sweet, high revenue growth, which is all the fun things that fuel revenue, just like what Rick said, you know, brand identity, bundles and listings and all the fun things that, you know, really blow up your revenue. So most sellers are right-brained, and which is why we get asked the question, where is the money? And the truth is, you probably aren't doing 99% of the things that drive profit, and I'm pretty sure your bookkeeper wishes you were. So everyone kind of adopts the cost ostrich method, which is really you just don't know your costs. But if you did, it would look like this. So one seller improved their margin, you know, by 3.39%, which was $39,000 in profit by one, checking your inventory reimbursements, which is, you know, what TrueOps is going to cover, and then also optimizing your landed cost to make sure you're actually, you know, inputting what your cost of goods sold are. Another client, 3.67%, which was an increase of $137,000 by following a profit recovery strategy. So some other success stories of other clients that have improved their margins by simply following the strategies. But how? So let's say your average monthly orders are 1,000 orders per month, and you are able to reduce your cost by 15 cents. Well, that's $1,800 a year. 2,500 orders, that's $4,500 a year. 5,000, 9,000, 20,000 orders, that's $36,000 a year, and that's just 15 cents. Now, imagine it was 25 cents, 50 cents, or maybe even $1. So here's, a client that, in keeping with the Q4 theme, ordered their products in 2022. So you can see the date here. It was $3,600 for 5,000 units. After simply requesting a discount after being a long-term client, this supplier adjusted their price to $1,800. It was a 50% difference, which is huge. So all these little things add up to improve your bottom line by simply asking the question. Same client, in keeping with how do we improve profitability with rising fees. The previous year, with 2022, they had their sales of 592,000, and in 2023 December, their sales dropped to 557,000, but they were able to improve their margin by 4.44%, which was an increased profit of $10,000. So less revenue, more profit. Now, they didn't need to source new products, increase spending on PPC campaigns, hire more staff, or incorporate the latest marketing hack, or offer deep discounts to attract customers, or really gamble with unproven trends or tactics. Our clients do this one thing better than 99% of other sellers, where most sellers are chasing revenue, more products, more PPC, and more sales. So what we choose to do is optimize operations to increase profitability through better cost management. So what does that mean? That means everything from the factory floor all the way to your warehouse floor, which might be Amazon FBA, a 3PL, or your mom's basement. Wherever it goes, we want to know exactly what those costs are, what it takes to get that product, and how do you make that better? So the importance of cost analysis. So let's take a look at shipping costs. So especially now, as your products are landing, your containers are coming, is how do we actually calculate the cost of a container? Where most sellers, what we're seeing is they would take a cost of, say, a container is $10,000 and there's 10,000 units in the container. You'll just average it out and go, all right, it's $1 a piece. Where we find that's incorrect is that we want to understand what the cubic meters of each carton are, how they're packaged in a container, because you might have a container that's this big with 1,000 units in it, or you might have a package that's this big with 10 units in it, and those don't cost the same to ship. So it's very important that you're calculating this in a way that's correct, because that's ultimately going to impact your margins, and it's ultimately going to impact that bottom line and your profitability. And the next one is customs cost. Each one of your products is a material that has a tariff assigned to it, especially if you're importing from China. So understanding what your codes are, and are you getting charged the right code for that material, and could that tariff be better if you had a like-for-like code, and also making sure you calculating that tariff correctly and not just doing a blanket sweep like the cost, where 5,000 in custom costs, 5,000 units, $1 a piece. So let's make sure our tariffs are correctly assigned. Because why does this matter? Well, let's have a look at this product here, which is that what you think is a 52-cent inbound cost actually is a $1.43 inbound cost, which is a 91-cent difference. Or this product that you think is a 52 cents inbound cost was actually a 30 cents inbound cost, which is a 22-cent difference. But let's take this 91 cents for a second. So this is the actual client. So think about, you're selling a product for $24.99. You thought the cost was $4.53. The actual cost is $5.44, and you sell 18,000 units annually. Well, over the course of the year, you're losing $17,000, which is just not showing up in your bank account. It's showing up in your profitability tool because that's what you put in there, the 453. But if you had put the 544 in, you could have recouped some of that profit by simply increasing your price. So understanding your cost and reclaiming all your profit is fundamental for your business success. Why? Because it allows you to grow profitably. And what I like about this presentation, that everyone here is, how do we improve profit, business optimization, scaling sales, and moving in the direction that ultimately looking for a profitable exit. So if you follow the growth strategies and you follow a profit recovery strategy first, and making sure that you're maximizing your profits on every single product you sell, especially the bundles that Rick spoke about, if you're pushing hard on those and you're getting as much money as possible, you have money to reinvest back into your business, back into scaling sales. Maybe you're going to expand, or take capital. But ultimately, at the end of the day, are we making the most profit? Are we making the most amount of money on every single SKU we sell? So just like these clients did, they maxed out their margins. They were able to get the highest amount of profitable and the most valuation. So let's just talk about profit recovery. So you'd actually be astonished to find how much money is actually hiding in your P&L. And your hard-earned cash is being held hostage by the marketplaces, by UPS or FedEx or wherever it might be. So our goal is supply chain optimization, is identifying inefficiencies and overcharges in your supply chain, logistics or procurement. And what we want to do is identify these and see if we can lower them. So next is getting a detailed cost analysis. So a comprehensive cost per unit calculations to ensure, one, are you pricing correctly? Two, are your inbound shipping and tariffs correct? And then next is landed optimization, which is ensuring all fees and expenses are actually reflected in the landed cost. So we have better margin control, and then ultimately pricing strategies that kind of circle back to what I said before, is lowest possible cost for your product and sell your inventory quickly without impacting your bottom line. And the next is revenue leak identification, which TrueOps are going to uncover as well, is missing inventory and wrong dimensions, and finding those reimbursements that should be yours. And ultimately freeing up cash flow. By recovering 2 to 3% of revenue and putting these strategies into place can free up funds to reinvest in growth. So when I think about selling on Amazon or e-commerce, I always think of phase one is profit recovery, having a basis, a foundation of your business so that you can grow profitably. So what we've found is, on average, sellers are missing out on about 4.2% of profit by simply not following these profit recovery strategies. Now, imagine if you put that 4.2% back into your business to drive growth. So I want you to think about SellerVUE as your left brain. So what we do is all the things that you don't want to do, and all the things that you don't want to do is what really ultimately drives profit. So what to do next is, we have a 21-day trial. Is you can go over to SellerVUE, sign up, register. There's a QR code there. Once you've signed up, we have a special onboarding call where we will walk you through everything that we do. We will uncover your inbound costs for you and identify the exact cost per SKU on the cubic meter basis. We'll also verify your SKUs and the correct HS codes, make sure that everything is dialed in, so that when you start tracking costs correctly, that you're actually starting off the right way. So go ahead, click the link or do the QR code, and I look forward to speaking to you.
Thank you, Mark. That was very informative. Next, we have Daniel from GeekSeller.
Hey, yeah, I can actually try to share my screen. I have one or two slides.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. All right. So at GeekSeller, actually, so my name is Daniel. I'm a co-founder of GeekSeller, and at GeekSeller we help sellers to automate things. If you manage orders, quantities, you want to do the multi-channel connections, you want to synchronize your marketplaces, then that's what we are helping with. And today I wanted to talk about some of the trends that we see among our sellers. So we do not really specialize in helping you to save money specifically, except we can help you to optimize your operations. But the trends that we see really can help you to understand where you can search for savings. And today I'm going to talk about the WFS and FBA. Amazon and Walmart are, from what we see and what we are focusing on, the largest marketplaces where we see the biggest just commerce happening. And what we noticed over the last about a year or so is seeing many sellers to actually using WFS and FBA as their main warehouse and fulfillment centers. Many of them are giving up on traditional 3PLs and just investing in storing the products on in Walmart and Amazon warehouses. So this is what we see among our sellers. This is also what we promote among our customers to utilize those two companies. And why we are doing this. So first of all, we see that the FBA and WFS, they're reshaping how 3PLs work. They have a lot of money to invest into the technology. So we see a lot of automation happening. I see actually on LinkedIn and on social media how some of the software companies that do help with warehouse management systems and how 3PLs are showing how they operate. They always show how humans are operating in those warehouses. But when you are checking what Walmart and Amazon are showing, they're showing robots and automation. So definitely they have a lot of money. They spend a lot of money into the automation of their warehouses, and that sooner or later will just translate into lower prices. We actually also we are very excited about seeing that Walmart with WFS getting into the market and being a big competition for Amazon. It's always good to see the competition. So in addition to so definitely, I mean, it may work for some, it may not work for others. We actually also wrote a lot of content about when FBA is really a good solution and WFS, and when you should still stick with your own warehouses or work with independent 3PL companies. But in most cases, especially if you are trying out few products or you're just starting, those two options are usually the easiest to go with, and they offer pretty good prices. In addition to just doing the warehousing, the returns, they take care of your refunds. They also have pretty good rates for shipping. And again, this is one of my recent LinkedIn posts that I got a lot of retweets and likes, where I mentioned an article, I think it was in one of the major publication, how shipping rates are dropping this season, and this is really due to the competition, right? Actually, the Walmart and Amazon are getting more and more independent from the FedEx, UPS, USPS. They started investing into their own fleet and drivers to deliver products. So this is also why it's nice to stick with those companies and use them for logistics. And one of the pro tip that I like to give is checking the Amazon shipping. Not everybody is eligible to use Amazon logistics, but you can actually ship your FBA. You can actually use Amazon shipping not only to ship your stored in Amazon products, but you actually can request Amazon to pick up your products and deliver them to your customers. You have to be approved for this. But many sellers should be approved in the big cities. You should be able to get Amazon to come and pick up your products and deliver to customers. So those are really the trends what we see. That's why I'm always encouraging for sellers to very much calculate how the FBA and WFS can help you with storage and warehousing, but also consider those companies just because of the shipping cost, and also using the shipping by Amazon that can help hopefully also save you some money on shipping. All right. Yeah, I think this is very much what I wanted to cover.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
And next we have Rafael at Shared Studios.
Hey guys, all right, good job, everybody. Doing a great job here. I think we're pushing through it. All right, so I'm gonna share my slides. As you can see, there are a lot. It's like 60 plus slides. Obviously, I'm not gonna go over all of them because we only have 10 minutes. But I do know that these are gonna be sent out to you, so just make sure you read them because we put a lot of love into them. All right, so let me. Can you guys see my slideshow? Yeah. Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, great. All right, so really quick, we're gonna talk about PPC. So at Share Studio, what we do is we create content for Amazon sellers. This content is based on data, so we make sure that this content is converting, is driving the right type of traffic. Because we basically do it basically on three factors. It's either creating brand awareness, which is impressions, right? Driving the right traffic, meaning that people click on your listing to go to your listing. And also, which is we're going to talk about Amazon PPC campaigns in 2024 and how we implement our content for that. And also the third step, which is what everybody likes, is conversions, because that's where the real money comes, right? People click on add to cart, you buy, and now you start making money. So a huge part of this making money process in the Amazon world is getting people to actually see your product and click on it, right? So this is what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of money goes there. All right, so this is a little about the company. You'll read it when you have these slides, what we do, brands we worked with, and the key points, it's going to be how ads improve engagement and boost conversion rates, how video ads improve engagement and boost conversion rates, the best way to create effective video ads using AI tools, and also just having discernment and understanding, because as a founder of your company, a CEO of your company, you have to wear multiple hats. And I'm not saying you have to be an expert in everything, but you have to know at least a little bit about all the things so you can make the right decisions when it's time to make that call. And then video strategies to do top of sellers use to enhance PPC performance and drive sales. Okay, so yeah, again, I'm not here to make you a filmmaker. I'm the filmmaker here. I'm not here to make you into somebody that needs to know what goes into this process, but give you the right information for at least, so when you see this video and you know this is made for this, or this commercial, you're like, yes, this is probably gonna perform really well, or hey, maybe we should take another route. Okay. All right, so as you know, images tell more than 1,000 words. Well, there are 24 images in every second of video. I don't know why these are not popping up. Sorry. So yeah, so videos are the secret source to top-notch marketing strategy. This one thing that we do from get-go is understand the keywords, and then we separate it either by gender, size, features, etc. So what we want to do is try to understand the buyer persona as much as possible, but not just like in general, just the buyer persona, but also what they're looking for, what makes them feel, what makes them itch, what makes them click. Making sure that you really understand like what problem are you trying to solve. The more keyword targeted you have your video ads, the better. So if what a lot of sellers do sometimes is that they have one video and then they just run this sponsored brand ads for every other keyword. That's not the case. The more specific, the more tailored you make this commercial for that specific keyword, it's gotta be even better. Okay, so make sure that your PPC videos have disruptiveness, meaning that you have something that once they first see the first frame, they do something, it automatically catches your attention, right? Make sure you're showing and not telling. Make sure that you're trying to give them the best information as possible, as quick as possible. And mirror that buyer persona. If it's, for example, if it's for a pet, make sure that you look for most likely what type of pet this is gonna be used for, which breed of dog, and the type of person that most likely buys this. You can find this through a lot of sources, even social media. You can find it through the reviews. You can find it through your Amazon demographics. You can see not just your reviews, but also competitor reviews. You can do polling outside of Amazon. There's a lot of ways, but make sure you're copying, quote unquote, who the buyer persona is as best as you can. So the keyword-driven strategy for sponsor ads videos. This is a case that we did for this game set. We saw a really good increase in traffic, and it's because we grouped them. These are the keywords, and then we grouped them into different type of keywords of videos. So each video targeted these keywords, right? So this is for the sexy game. So it starts like this. So as you see right here, she's pointing to the left side. Why? Because when you're running a brand's sponsored brand ads video, you'll see that the listing is here. So we're trying to make that a call to action. For example, this is for couple games. So as you see, it's 2 of them. This is for Valentine's, a group of people in general. All right. So, and the video continues the same thing. Well, we changed the first shot, the first scene. All right. Okay, there you go. So this is what they had before. They had for this brand, for this specific campaign, they had 1.4 return ad spend, and we increased it to a 3.77 to 20 and 1.84. Honestly, there's no like secret sauce. It's just giving them what they actually want, making sure that you're doing the right job the best way you can. So yeah, obviously you need to have quality and you need to tell the story correctly, and it has to look good because quality perception or price quality perception does matter, right? The better it looks, the better it's going to perform, most likely, unless you're Kanye West and you record a 15-second video for the Super Bowl, because he's Kanye West, right? And he does incredibly well. But if you're not a big brand, or you don't have a persona behind that brand that's really well known, make sure that it looks really good, right? So yeah, make sure that you balance the visuals, music, and screen text, right? Bring your brand to life. Make sure that you incorporate models into the video. That plays a huge part. You might not think that it does, but it actually does incorporate. Having that the human look into it, it's a big changer. We actually seen an increase just by including a model that appeals most likely to the buyer persona, to that buying power. Okay. Make sure you end strong. If the person or the buyer that's watching this video does watch it all the way through, make sure you have a really good ending. We like to include something that increases that brand awareness most of the times, or call to action. Hey, if you get one, we'll do this. Okay. And also, you'll see some facts here, and that's all from Amazon. So make sure you go and read that. Okay. One of the most important things that I love to do is to show, don't tell, like meaning that instead of saying it straightforward, you can actually just show it. You can add and support with titles. Why? Because if you use a voiceover, most of the times people do not play the clip with audio. Like, just ask yourself, when was the last time I'm not saying YouTube, but when was the last time you scrolled through Instagram while you were on the subway or a public place, or you were in a meeting or whatever, and you play with audio? Most likely you didn't, right? So it's very few times. If they are interested, what you could do, if you do want to play with a voiceover, make sure that you have somebody talking to the camera. So they see that it's somebody and they need to listen to this, all right? Another cool thing is make sure you cross-promoting. If you have different, variations or something, be subtle, like, hey, we also offer this and this. So yeah, video length and all these things here, you'll be able to see this in the slides. I don't want to overwhelm you. One of the key factors that I can say is that if it's a PPC video, or we call it vulgarly PPC video, a video that's going to be drive traffic, make sure that that video is very short and it's very informative, and you try to get as much information as possible. If it's a listing video that's designed to increase that conversion, make sure that that video is going to answer as many questions as possible, all right? There are different type of videos. There's the PPC video, listing video, there's the sponsored display ads video, there's the streaming video, there's a bunch of videos. Each product placement, each traffic, each placement of this video, this commercial, has its unique purpose. So make sure you know what that purpose is for each of them. All right. Don't use one for everything because it's probably not going to work. It's like going to the gym and trying to do everything at the same time. Like it's not doable. This is a technique we call the marble technique, and with this I'll finish. It's based on 4 components. That's for the sponsor ads videos. Make sure you grab them that attention. Make sure you're solving that problem, and make sure you're showing the benefit, and most likely, and the best of all, make sure you're showing your brand, right? And here you'll be able to find more information about that. Always, always, always make sure that there's a disruption. Make sure that there's something that when they're scrolling, they're seeing all these different listings, they stop and look at your video. If not, you're just wasting production value, time, etc. Okay. Focus on the customer, not your brand. What are they feeling? How can you make them not feel that? How can you make them feel better? Okay. It's not about you. It's about them at the end of the day. Okay. And keep it short. I don't know why they're not sharing. Apologies. And make sure that you inspire customers to do more. So, for example, here at the end for this video, we say if you buy one, we'll donate one. Okay. And to succeed, you need a solid strategy and the ability to adapt. Obviously, make sure you got the right data. This is crucial, guys. Crucial. If you don't have the right data, it won't even matter. Like, make sure you understand the buyer persona, and yeah, that's about it because I'm almost done out of time. And if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out. My computer just froze. This is my link, and yeah, we'll jump on a call, give you a few notes. If you have any content that you would like me to look, I can also do that, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, that's it.
Would the QR code have this slide link?
We can add it to it. Yeah, we'll add it to it. We're gonna send
or
it
I
to
could
you.
just send me a link and I can share it with the audience at the end.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. We'll add it just in case as well.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Rafael.
Thanks, Ryan, for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Okay, next we have Christine, who is filling in for Joel.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks so much for including us. My name is Kristen, and I'm with the TrueOps team, and we do reimbursements. And so we're going to talk about that today. Just to give you some background on myself, I was a full-time seller for 10 years and ran an agency as well. And it really wasn't until I joined the TrueOps team about 3 months ago that I realized all the things I didn't know about reimbursements and how important it is to your business. And so when we're talking about strategies and how competitive things are, and every dime, every cent matters, reimbursements have become even more important. And in the last 5 years, since I haven't been selling full time, so much more technology has been introduced and so many more elements have come into play. And it is true that you just cannot be an expert on everything. And yet you need to be considering all of these things in this very competitive landscape. So I think that it's so important to really be thinking about your reimbursement strategy. If you don't have one, you should, because you're really leaving money on the table. And so I've got a couple kind of best practices that we'll talk about today. The first one being that you should be doing at least 2 audits. Some people aren't doing any. I was talking to a course creator the other day, and he had a new brand that came out this year and said I had yet to do it. And I said, this is going to be like a happy day for you. As you go into Q4, you'll have some extra money for inventory. And he was just so surprised how much money had been left on the table. So it's just an area that you can't ignore. So you should be doing 2 audits. If you are doing audits internally, what we find is that the numbers don't lie. I talk to sellers all day long, and they'll say, I've got a great internal team. We've got this. We're good. And we run a free audit for them, and there's money there. And so with TrueOps, at least, that initial audit takes 3 minutes to sign up for. It's free to you. It gives you peace of mind to see if your team is doing a great job internally, or if you have a third party who's doing it, it's kind of just a check to see how things are going. Again, it's free to you. I will go ahead and put the link in the chat after I stop talking, so that you can sign up for that. But it really is peace of mind. And you should be looking at this just from a strategy standpoint that, yes, you may have a great internal team who you think is doing a wonderful job, but you really need to be looking at, kind of a backup approach, if you will, just to make sure you're not leaving money on the table, because that money can turn into profit. So first, have a second opinion, if you will, a second audit. We typically at TrueOps will be that second or first approach because we're 10% commission as opposed to the industry standard, which is about 25%. So if you're doing it internally, maybe we're your backup. And that's kind of good. My second point, second best practice is to really customize this for what it looks like for your business. What's the best approach for you? I think a lot of people think if I'm using a third-party reimbursement company that it's an all or nothing approach, and that's not the case. With most companies, including TrueOps, we are very customizable. So if you feel like you have a team that's doing a great job internally and you want to take that first crack at getting those claims processed, certainly you can do that. And then you set up that backup to be maybe 30 days in or 15 days in. Or maybe you feel like in a specific category, like lost inbound or lost at the warehouse or damaged at the warehouse, you're doing a fantastic job, or your team is. But maybe nobody's looking at your shipping dimensions or looking at if you have unused shipping labels or what's going on with your customer returns. You need to be looking at all of these categories because this is all money that you could be leaving on the table. So that would be my second thought here is best practices to maximize your reimbursements. Set a policy that works for you and set that up so that that is customizable for your company. We had one customer who had four audits being done, and he basically stacked up the provider. So he did his first internally, and then we came in next, and then he had 2 other providers. That seems a bit of overkill, but whatever works for you and your business, that's what you need to be thinking about. Again, this is kind of, I think, an area of your business that most people neglect. I know I did in the 10 years of selling. I don't even want to think about how much money I left on the table. There's just not enough time in the day for everything that we need to be doing as Amazon sellers and brand owners. And so these are things that you can kind of set it and forget it for the most part. But this will give you peace of mind that you are getting back all the money that you need to from Amazon and that you can be reinvesting into your business. And the third thing that I would say is that if you are using a third party, if you are using a reimbursement company, look at their policies in depth and make sure that they are seller friendly. So at TrueOps, for instance, we do not charge you if inventory is found during the process of filing a claim. We do an automatic credit without questions asked. You don't need to contact us if a claim is drawn back by Amazon if inventory is found. There's no exceptions to this. We are extremely seller friendly. And so if you're using another third party, be asking these questions and really look at, this is your money and you should be getting it back as much as possible at the lowest cost possible. And so make sure that these types of policies are in place to benefit the seller and to benefit you and your business so that you can bring that money back into the business either as profit or to, buy inventory or whatever the case may be. As we're looking at, every cent matters. It's so important. And really the numbers don't lie. I see day in and day out, again, companies saying, I've got this, my team is great. And maybe that's the case, but you want to make sure that this is not an area of your business that you're ignoring. So I'll go ahead and put the link down below for the free audit. Again, it takes 3 minutes to sign up for it. And it's just a great policy to make sure that you're not leaving money on the table and that you are maximizing your profits and that you are looking after your business. So I appreciate being included in the presentation today.
Thank you, Christine. And lastly, we have Fabricio. And take us away.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm just maximizing here. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, please let me know if you can see my presentation. Can you? Can someone just do a yes? Okay, good. Thanks. Okay, so I'm talking today about inventory and sales synchronization. Flieber is an inventory planning company for modern commerce. I call it modern commerce because it's multi-channel, multi-warehouse. So it's we're talking a lot about Amazon here, but a lot of the brands nowadays are moving also to new channels. So we cover all of that, and we have a bunch of features and values here. I don't want to spend the time talking about what we do. You can see it later or in our website at any time. You can also go to G2 to see what our customers talk about us. I don't want to also be bragging here about this. So let's move straight to the presentation. I'm talking about synchronizing sales and inventory strategies to maximize profits. So usually what happens in companies is that you have a team taking care of pricing and advertising and like more the brand related team, and another team playing the catch-up game on the operations so that you have enough inventory to sell. Since in this digital world, sales are digital, advertising is digital, pricing is digital, customer is digital, everything is digital, but the inventory is still physical. Inventory is usually the weak link in this whole chain. So what happens, especially during Q4, you have slower supply chains, you have rising operational costs, volatile demand, harder to forecast, higher competition, rising complaints from customers due to service issues like deliveries and fulfillment, etc. And that results in stockouts and overstock. So most of our customers, and we served almost 1,000 brands up to today, most of our customers either run out of stock of the products that they sell or are overstocked of the products that they don't sell. And both of them are terrible because the stockouts of the products that they sell means less sales and means, you know, on Amazon, for example, impact on rankings, and many times you can even recover your ranking position from before you ran out of stock. And overstock, a lot of people don't talk about that because they're always focused on the best sellers, but overstock is what actually kills retail companies. All of the retail companies that die, they die rich in inventory, poor in cash. So overstock is very, very dangerous for your business. Right? The solution is understanding that you always have two levers. One lever is inventory. Yes, you want to have enough inventory to sell, not a lot that you become overstocked. But when inventory is an issue, and believe me, it's going to be the issue most of the times because it's the only physical thing, start playing with the sales lever, advertising and pricing. That seems obvious, but no brands do that. I don't see any brands really synchronizing and making sales decisions based on future inventory availability. And that's what I want to talk about today. Let me talk about a COVID use case. It's an old use case, but it shows a lot about how this happens. I would like to know if you can see a chart. I think you can't, right? So let me do it again. I'm sorry. Can you see a chart now on the screen? You can? Okay, good. Okay, so this is sales in gray, adjusted sales in blue. So this is the first thing. A lot of people use the sales information to forecast what's going to sell. And that's a problem because you see here that you had a bunch of stockouts in the middle of the way. And if you're feeding that to either a calculation on an Excel spreadsheet or an algorithm, even the most modern algorithm, it's going to project new zero sales in the future. So you're going to project new stockouts. So the first thing that we do at Flieber is substitute your past sales, adjusting it for the anomalies. Anytime we see an anomaly, a listing suspension or stockouts or pricing variation, we adjust that so that we don't feed algorithms with the wrong information. So blue is what really matters because blue is the adjusted sales. So the adjusted sales here, we're fine. This product is growing. This is one product. It's a coffee product. It's growing over time. You'll see each year is growing a little more. If you think about pricing and ads, it tested a bit of pricing changes here, but mostly stable pricing and stable ads. And if you talk about forecast using moving average here, just we have AI algorithms, but I didn't want to include that in the mix. But using moving average, you'll see also that the 30-day moving average and 7-day moving average are very close, which means that it's a stable product. And this is March 1st, 2020, right before COVID. So let's go 15 days later and let's see what happens. So 15 days later, sales start picking up, although it's March. If you've seen time, March is always the lowest season of the year, and sales start picking up because people used to buy coffee at grocery stores. COVID hit, there was no more grocery stores. You had to buy coffee online, right? So suddenly sales of this product start picking up. In Flieber, what happens is that we start saying, hey, sales are picking up. Now the inventory that would last 30 days, for example, is going to last only 10. You need to replenish as soon as possible. And that's what they do. They start issuing replenishment to their suppliers. And let's go 15 days later. But they don't have enough time. So they run out of stock because the supplier is not able to deliver in time. So they run out of stock here. And they start increasing price because they see that the demand is a lot higher than it should be. So they increase price, start reducing advertising. And this is the biggest move this company does, because let me, oh, and by the way, 7-day moving average and 30 days start detaching from each other, showing a upwards trend in this product. So let's go a little further. Let's go 1 month later. So sales continue to go up. They have another out of stock here, almost out of stock. They have to increase price even more. Price goes up a lot. Now price is 30 to 40% higher than before. Advertising goes back to zero. So what's happening with this company now is that, understanding that they cannot supply in time the inventory that they need, they are changing price and advertising. This increases margin a lot. So they not only keep selling a lot, they're growing, sales are a lot higher than usual for this period, but they're able to keep their positioning ranking, they're able to keep the product in stock, while all of their competitors are running out of stock because they don't have this visibility, the inventory and sales synchronization visibility. And let's go to 6:30. By 6:30, they are still selling a lot, but with a much higher price than usual, zero ad spend, and making a lot of money. So going to the end of the year, this is what happened this year. Sold a lot, sales went back a little bit to normal, but in a higher level than before. Prices never went back to the same level, meaning that they were able to raise prices and keep the prices up during a much longer time. Advertising also only came back to normal almost 6 months, 6 to 7 months before COVID. So try to summarize what happened here. This company went from $1.5 million in sales to $6.5 million in sales during the COVID year, and margins were 4.5 times what they were before. So they increased the not only the sales but the margin a lot because of what they did here in sales and inventory synchronization. So my message to you here, let me go back. Can you see the presentation again? I think you can, right? So my message to you is basically understand that during peak season, most of the people, they try to be very aggressive with the quantities that they're going to send to Amazon in the case of Amazon. And they end up overstocked of products after peak season. And that's very, very dangerous. So try to understand that you have two levers. Send to Amazon whatever is the ideal for you to sell during that period. If sales are better, great news. You can change price and advertising to improve margin. Sales are not as important as margin. Everybody's obsessed with sales. That's only for social affirmation, only for you to sell, to say, oh, I'm selling, 8 figures. It doesn't matter. I've seen a bunch of 8 figures companies making a lot less bottom line, a lot less profit than 6 figures companies. So think about that. What is important is margin. So higher profits, more stable sales, more balanced inventory levels, no ranking hiccups because you run out of stock, ranking gets crazy. No overstocks after peak season, which is the most important message here. So at Flieber, we have all of that in a system, really easy to use. We offer a free trial, and anyone can just self-onboard, or you can ask us for help during onboarding. We also have a team for that. If you want to schedule a one-on-one inventory deep dive, use this link here. It's going to be on the presentation that we're going to send to everybody. If you want to participate in a live product demo, just go to flieber.com/demo. Or if you want, you can contact me directly, and I can help you with whatever you want. And as we say here, let's start fleeting. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right, thank you, Fabricio. Very informative. Very important to kind of keep in stock. And when we're approaching out of stock, what we actually do, like front load what we need to, like decide before what we're going to do right before we go out of stock. Okay, now let's get into the Q&A. So if any participants, any attendees want to ask a question, feel free to ask a question on the Q&A button in the Zoom chat. Okay, we have one for Rafael. How can video ads improve engagement and boost conversion rates in Amazon PPC campaigns?
Can you repeat the question, please?
How can video ads improve engagement and boost conversion rates in Amazon PPC?
So video ads are made more for driving the traffic. So they're definitely gonna help you drive more, if it's effective, drive more traffic, because you're telling the user that it's looking for a specific keyword, that this is gonna solve the problem that they have. It's not necessarily made to drive that conversion. That conversion is more for a video, for listing video, which I recommend doing if you have a conversion problem. It could help you if it's a really good video and talks about both of the problems, like driving the traffic and increasing the conversion. But it has to be short, good, like it has to be really well planned out so nobody gets bored, and they also get a lot of value from it. But the PPC video is it's driven more towards that driving that traffic, increasing that impressions, right? Because you're getting impressions, you're getting people seeing your listing, your video, and making sure that they click on it. Because a lot of times people just look at it and like, oh, it's not really interesting. So you want to make sure that there's a wow factor to it. People stop and at least look at the 5-7 seconds of the video, and then if they stick around for that long, most likely they'll stick around for more, or they already clicked on your ad. I hope that answers your question. I don't know who made that question.
Yeah. Thanks, Rafael.
No worries.
Okay, so we have a question for Christine at TrueOps. I think this is a pretty interesting question. What is the difference between TrueOps and a service provider that isn't supervised by a CPA?
Yeah, so a CPA obviously is, by the book, by the rules. So
Before you go, what's a CPA?
Oh, a
I
CPA.
think, yeah, just make sure everybody knows.
A CPA is a licensed professional, and so in accounting, and so basically there are specific rules that they need to operate by, if you will. And so they are licensed, and they are very specifically oriented towards the accounting and auditing of accounts. And so we are sure that our team is all, trained auditors. These are not people that are just basically hired that are doing audits. These are trained auditors, and he is focused on our operations. So he's one of the co-owners. Actually, it's actually Joel, who you see his name there. And so he's one of the co-founders of TrueOps. And so it's very important for all of our operations that we are trained in a specific way. A lot of our staff is actually from, past Amazon employees, and so they know how to conduct audits, how to phrase claims, and that kind of thing, so that we get you the most money.
Thank you. And a question for Daniel. How using Walmart and Amazon solutions can help reduce both warehousing and shipping costs?
Yeah, so you have to really check for your products if that makes sense, and how much. Just compare the prices for Walmart. What offers? What's the offer by Walmart, Amazon? They have calculators. So I mean, the whole idea is that they can offer better prices than majority of smaller 3PLs. So simply using the same, yeah, like just they usually offer you better pricing than smaller 3PLs. At the same time, it comes with cheaper shipping. But again, it really depends on what kind of products you're selling. But I usually just advise for considering those two companies for your 3PL. So yes, that's I guess it's there is no universal question. It really depends on what you are selling, and you have to do your research.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
Sure.
Okay, this question is for me. So the question is, when you're advertising for these bundles and variations, right, you advertise for the lower price or the higher price variation. So the simple answer is like the lower price, right? The reason being, hold on. The reason being that when you advertise a lower price, the click-through rate is normally higher, and the people that are populating on the top end of the search results are normally the lower price product, right? So it's also very hard to like get the higher price product on top of search ranking if all your competition is like, you know, have like a lower price by like 50%. So I would definitely like advertise the lowest price product, and normally that is your hero product, right? Your CTR and CPC will normally, your CPC would be lower, CTR would normally be higher in that situation. So that is the long answer for that. Did somebody raise their hand? Any participants have any additional questions? Okay, we'll do one more. We'll do two more. Okay, so this one is for Mark. What is the most common overlooked cost that impact profitability, and how can business optimize for these costs effectively?
I think the two biggest ones are the inbound shipping, really understanding what you are importing in the container and assigning the correct shipment rate to those products. So calculating the cubic meters of the container, understanding your your measurements, and assigning those numbers, and then also customs, making sure that your codes are correct. Oftentimes, you know, a freight forwarder might lump some codes together, and the materials might be like for like or seem like for like, but making sure that we, you know, segment materials and that those codes are right, because, you know, one code might be 16%, another one might be 12%, but over a volume of sales, you know, that slowly adds up. So it's important to check your codes are correct.
Great, thank you, Mark.
Sure.
And we have time for one more question, and this is for Fabricio. This is a good question because I think a lot of sellers has experienced this in the past, or, you know, getting ready to experience this in Q4. So in Q4, Amazon becomes a mess, and many times inventory gets delayed at arrival in the FBA warehouse. What is the best way to deal with that?
That's a great question, because there's no solution for that. You're in the hands of Amazon, right? So I think the thing that you can have is full visibility. People underestimate the power of visibility, of data visibility. So understanding ahead of time, as soon as possible, that something is happening will let you make better decisions faster. And if you compare to your any competition that you might have that doesn't have that same level of visibility, you are the one operating in a better way. So one example I give today is, you know, change price and advertising campaign to reduce the sales. The first thing is have visibility. You have to have full visibility in real time of what's going on. At Flieber, for example, we're connected to Amazon FBA or to AWD if you use any of the two. We're collecting that data in real time, and we're showing you that data in real time and what is the impact that you're going to have in your future inventory. So being able to, as soon as possible, understand what's going on and take action is the only solution. You cannot, you know, change how Amazon operates. And believe me, Amazon is going to screw you up 100% of the times.
Okay, so I think the moral story is that, yeah, Amazon's gonna do you a little dirty. Okay, okay, so everyone, I think that's all the time we have left. And thank you for the guests for the speakers for speaking and all the attendees for attending. So on the actual webinar chat, I put everyone's LinkedIn profiles, and feel free to connect with us. And for SellerMetrics, we also have a YouTube channel where we would post the recording of the webinar such as this, and also other content related to e-commerce and Amazon selling. So thanks a lot thanks a lot for everyone attending. Hope everybody a good, amazing, profitable Q4.